This CNN podcast is sponsored by the personal advisors of Ameriprise Financial. Get to what's next.
Hello and welcome to CNN's News of the Absurd. I'm Jarrett Bellini, and I'm here to tell you that this podcast has not been affected by rising fuel costs. That said, everything else on the planet has been affected, which is why some drivers are gauging their car trips not just in distance, but in dollars, which can only mean pistols at dawn.
To go to the doctor, I needed at least $15 worth of gas. Didn't have it, and wasn't gonna put it in if I had it.
J.R. Belcher finally decided enough was enough.
This has been in my blood ever since the old days, and I won't have it any other way.
Which is why these days, rather than driving his truck, rough and tough J.R. the cowboy travels by his trusty steed, Mr. Nibbles.
It's all good. I come out in the morning, man, I just take it in, you know.
The 25-mile ride to the doctor took 6 hours, but J.R. was only about half an hour late. Maybe he stopped to rob the stagecoach.
I said I'm a half hour late, but I'm here. And I said I had to ride my horse over. And he says, what? You rode a horse over? I says, yeah, I rode my horse. He says, you're kidding. I says, no, he's parked out there in the tree.
And then he says, hey, I know of a great opium den right next to the apothecary.
As gas prices continue to go up, there's going to be a lot more people that's going to start riding, and they're going to be riding over the city.
Now, as the cost of fuel continues to soar out of control, perhaps more motorists will switch to horses and other way-back modes of transportation. But for one 5-year-old boy in Jamestown, New York, nothing will beat sitting behind the wheel of a car.
I witnessed a miracle. It was amazing.
Amazing.
It all started when this boy decided he wanted to play in his grandmother's pickup truck. First it was the wiper blades, then the turn signal, and of course the headlights. But the trouble began when the little boy somehow started the engine without using a key. That's when our amazed woman in a van pulled up from behind.
And I thought, what is he doing in there by himself?
The simple answer? Braking stuff.
He went in a circle and came back into the parking lot and was headed for the rear end of my car. And I pulled out. That little boy was very familiar with that truck.
Out of the camera's view, the little boy drove the truck across the street, over a curb, through a gravel parking lot, and into a 12-foot embankment where it smashed into a brick house. She's a brick house! And here comes the miracle. Perhaps saved by the airbag, the little boy survived the crash and, save for an arm cast, was otherwise unharmed. Even more amazing, sitting in the junkyard after the accident, the ignition still turned over without a key.
And obviously if you have a malfunction with your ignition, get it taken care of. This could have been a catastrophe.
Obviously, fixing the ignition of the car might have been a good idea, but I'm guessing that the kid probably would have just taken the car keys. Really, the only way to stop a situation like this is giant, big, monster speed bumps.
Yeah, man, this is crazy, man.
This was the scene at the Eagles Point Apartments in Tampa, Florida. The initial problem was that residents from the neighboring Cypress Run apartments were hastily cutting through Eagles Point on their way to the main road. Normal speed bumps didn't seem to work, so management installed these.
They're completely insane. I wouldn't drive over them.
I don't know the reason they build them, but it's not right. It's absolutely wrong.
Looking for every last argument to have them removed, residents protested that it was even unsafe for emergency vehicles.
Imagine that if somebody is in the ambulance and the ambulance needs to fly over that stuff.
Eventually, the Tampa fire inspector issued a notice to Eagles Point mandating that they remove the Southern Andes from the road, which they did, replacing them with a gate. Effective, but not nearly as entertaining. Well, that's all for this edition of News of the Absurd. I'm Jarrett Bellini, sad and poor because I am being affected by high gas prices. So please, bring me Mr. Nibbles! Yeah. Ready? She's a brick. House. Can you guys try it one more time? Just go, house. And kind of like lean back. Just go, house when you do it. Yeah, kind of go, house. Ready? 3, 2. She's a brick. House. Good enough. It's a stupid gag anyway. News of the absurd. News of absurd.